All right, we're going to do example 3 and 4 together as well because they relate to each other for this particular lesson. So example 3, it says a school supply company produces wooden rulers and plastic rulers. The rulers must first be made and then painted. Okay, so we got two different scenarios here. In the first scenario, we have it takes 20 minutes to make a wooden ruler. Okay, so we got wooden rulers, and then it takes 15 minutes to make plastic rulers. There's a maximum of 480 minutes per day set aside for making rulers, right? So what do we know? It takes 20 minutes per wood ruler, and it takes 15 minutes per plastic ruler. And those two things put together, right? So those two things put together has to be less than or equal to 480 minutes. All right, so now let's we need to make this into an equation here, or an inequality. So let's clean it up. I don't know the number of wood rulers, so let's let W equal the number of wood rulers. And then we're going to let plastic, right? So P equals plastic rulers, right? The number. Number of, right? The number of plastic rulers. All right, so looking at that and already think about it, so that's 20 minutes per wood ruler, per meaning multiply, plus 15 minutes per plastic ruler. So we got two variables here. Has to be less than or equal to the total 480 minutes. That takes care of the first one, right? So this is A, this is B, so this is A. All right, so now let's talk about B. Well, what do we know? For the painting part, when we start to paint these things, it takes 5 minutes per wooden ruler. So 5 minutes per wood ruler. I'm just going to use my variable per W, plus 2 minutes per plastic ruler. And that has to be less than or equal to the 180. All right? So from there, we want to write that inequality out as well. So 5W plus 2P is less than or equal to 180. Now, normally, I would tell you that we're done. But I want us to think about one other thing in the context of this particular problem. If we're a company and we're making something, what do the values for W and P both have to be? Right? Think about it. You're making a product. So those numbers would have to be positive. Right? You can't make a negative number of rulers. So I'm also going to add down here, maybe a part C if you want to call it this, both W and P must be positive. Okay, so W is greater than or equal to 0, and P is greater than or equal to 0. All right, so that's going to bring us to the next example. Pause that if you need to get those written down, and I actually put them over here so we can see them. All right, so we got that set up. Now, for example 4, what we want to do is we want to figure out, some possible solutions. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is let's just assume, for example, that they are going to make no wooden rulers. They're only going to make plastic rulers, right? You're finding out the maximum number of plastic rulers that they could possibly make. So we did 20 times 0 plus 15P is less than or equal to 480. This first thing goes away, and we're left with 15P is greater than or equal to 480. And divide by 15, and then you get P is less than or equal to 32. Okay? And then for the second one, we're going to do the same thing. So 5 for the painting part, 5 times 0 plus 2p has to be less than or equal to 180. That goes away. We're talking about 2p is less than or equal to 180. Divide by 2, divide by 2. P is less than or equal to 90. Okay? So, what does that mean? In 480 minutes, the company can make no more than 32 plastic rulers if 0 wooden rulers are produced. In 180 minutes, the company can paint no more than 90 plastic rulers if there are no wooden rulers to paint. All right? So, does that kind of give you an idea of what we're doing here? We're using what we know to figure this out. So, if 0 wooden are made, 32 plastic rulers can be made. Right? If 0 wooden are painted, $90 plastic can be painted. Now, I only did that for the max number of plastic. Okay? What I want you to try and do on your sheet of paper is figure out the max number of wooden that can be made and painted given this context. All right? So, good luck with that, and then good luck on your task. Ask me if you need help.